Good evening. We start with something every parent fears. You raise your children, read them bedtime stories, take them to church. But when they become teenagers, what secrets are they keeping from you? For the young girl you're about to meet, those secrets would unfold on TVs and the internet all over the country. Secrets so surprising, even her own mother didn't know it was her daughter flashed up on screen as one of the Barbie Bandits. And tonight, that Barbie Bandit is talking only to primetime.
How many of you come expecting God to do good things today? Always. Amen. The Bible says
Heather Johnston worships with her family in this suburban Atlanta church. It is a typical Sunday for the Johnstons and so many other families in their community.
I ask you, God, to cleanse my heart.
But Heather and her parents are sitting on what's become one of the worst kept family secrets in their town. Because the Heather you see here in church is also this Heather. And this one of the infamous Barbie Bandits. At one point, Georgia's most wanted, most talked about teenage criminals, not only here, but across the country. Their images were everywhere.
When I saw the photos, I thought, this cannot be real.
I mean, they just couldn't believe it. I mean, Heather, sweet little Heather. The hardest part is probably knowing that I hurt so many people and that I did something so stupid.
Had all gone as planned, Heather, who is now 19, would have just finished her first year in college. Instead, she's praying for a second chance, hoping she won't end up in prison. It was a little more than a year ago. Heather had just graduated from high school. She was, by all accounts, a teenager who had everything going for her. A little girl who grew up the star tennis player in her family. The little girl who wanted to one day be a swimsuit model. And a little girl who brought home shining report cards. What were you like in school?
I'd say I was a really good student. I always did my homework, my projects.
You did well. You even won a scholarship.
Yeah, I just kept my mind straight then.
Like so many high school graduates, Heather was preparing for college. She even went to college orientation. But her father in construction and her mother, the elementary school teacher, had no idea what she was up to at night.
She didn't seem real interested in the orientation, so I kind of thought something was wrong or going on.
They knew she had a summer job at a club, earning money for school. What they didn't know was how she was earning it. What made you want to become a dancer?
I love to dance.
But this was being a stripper.
I guess I didn't have a problem taking off my clothes. You know, just wanted to do something crazy.
It was crazy.
Yes, it was.
Were you good at it?
I'd say I was, yes. It's just getting up there and just dancing like you would in front of your mirror, which I did a lot of, but without your clothes, so.
And with much more than a mirror watching.
Yes, yeah.
Heather was making $1,000 a week for just 3 nights as a stripper. But it was more than just fast money. It was a fast crowd, she says, with lots of drugs and wild partying. And when she broke the news to her parents that she was stripping, they gave her an ultimatum: stop or get out of the house. It backfired. She moved out.
I went wild. I was on drugs most of the time, so I didn't care what anyone had to say. I was just going to do it my way.
And she certainly did, moving in with her new best friend, fellow stripper Ashley Miller. And from that first night, you were fast friends.
Yeah, we turned like best friends like immediately.
One February night, Heather says she and Ashley's boyfriend, Michael Chastain, began hatching a plan that was at first a joke. You were joking about robbing a bank.
Yeah, it's crossed a lot of people's minds from what I've heard, so.
But the next morning, Heather says Chastain called with specific instructions. He knew a bank teller named Benny Allen who could act as the inside man. What Heather and Ashley didn't know at the time was that both the inside man and the boyfriend were no strangers to the law. Chastain had a long criminal record, and Allen was wanted for drug possession in a neighboring county. It was hardly a joke anymore. Heather says she was soon on the phone with Allen, the teller, whom she had never met in person. So the bank teller, who's actually at the bank, is telling you what to write on the note?
Yes.
And you were taking notes?
Yes.
And while Heather acknowledged that the note contained threatening language, she wouldn't go into details. But sources tell Primetime it read in part, "Remember, I will not hesitate to kill you." When you were writing that threat on the note, were you thinking about the people who work in that bank, the kind of scare that you would cause?
No, because we had an inside man, so no.
With the demand note written, They were ready to go. So you get in the car and you're driving to the bank. What was going through your mind?
We'd ask each other, "Are you nervous?" It's like, "No." "Are you?" And she was like, "Not really."
During the car ride, not only did they talk about their nerves, they talked about their parents. And you said you were going to share the money with them?
Yes, but we never did.
Were you laughing? Were you excited?
I have to say we were kind of excited.
Excited because they were almost there. Almost. Because incredibly, they went to the wrong bank.
We took a wrong turn somewhere, ended up going to a complete different Bank of America.
And you went inside?
Yes, we did.
And he wasn't there?
No.
And that's when you realized you were in the wrong bank?
Yes.
Does it dawn on you at that point that maybe you're in way over your head?
No.
In fact, Heather says they called the teller back and got directions again. And before long, they were there at his bank, at his window. And the whole thing was caught on camera. The two girls, their sunglasses, and their smiles. You had on tight jeans and the tops and the sunglasses.
Yes. We had got those a couple weeks before this even came up. Like, those are what we call them, our stunner shades.
Your stunner shades?
Yeah.
Well, you stunned the country. But few people were laughing. The grainy surveillance photos of the newly christened Barbie Bandits would soon be everywhere.
Cobb County Police searching for two bank robbers who are being called the Barbie Bandits.
The Barbie Bandits.
Barbie Bandits.
A blonde and a brunette.
Two robbers wearing sunglasses were caught.
You didn't think that the blonde hair and the rest of you would help all of those surveillance cameras?
There's so many blonde-headed girls. Like, how would they know it was Heather Johnston and Ashley Miller? You know.
Besides, Heather says, they weren't thinking about surveillance. They were thinking about the money.
And it was like going everywhere, so I was pushing it. Ashley's grabbing it, putting it, throwing it in the bag. And
Thousands
then,
of dollars.
Yes.
And now you're thinking, we're pulling this off.
Yes.